police, I grew up here in Fairfax County, were offering a similar program at the time that I was able to join and learn a lot about what it means to be a local police officer. It actually helped change my mind in terms of what I wanted to do, because I had originally wanted to be a federal agent. But when I saw what police do in a local community, I realized that's where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. This program will help young people ages 14 to 20 learn about leadership, about ethics, integrity, public speaking, and taking accountability for responsibilities and actions in our community. This is a youth-led program, and because of that, it allows our young people to be put into leadership roles with adult police officers serving as mentors to be able to actually do many of the things in these areas, such as public speaking, organizational leadership, and learning about law enforcement practices and the changing dynamics in law enforcement right now. We absolutely need some of our best and brightest people to come into this field. The events around the country have demonstrated that we need the next generation of police officers to be our best. I can assure you that the actions of the Fairfax County Police Department in the last 7 to 8 years have situated us very well to adapt to the current reform waves around the country. In fact, many of the reforms being demanded of police departments nationwide are things that the FCPD have already implemented. That should encourage you and let you know that you've come to the right place to explore this career field, to learn more, to get to know our police officers, and get to know more about what the right qualities are for someone who's interested in this career field. You will get as much out of this program as you put into it, and the obvious hurdle right now is the pandemic. We certainly don't want to be having this meeting virtually, but we have found that there is quite a bit of training and mentorship that we can accomplish virtually. And we also know that the pandemic will come to an end, and we'll be able to get back to in-person meetings and trainings again soon, where you can get to know police officers firsthand and know more about what this profession is all about. So please stick with us. You have the interest to be here tonight, and we hope that you will continue virtually until we can get back together in person. Again, thank you for your interest. Thank you for engaging with our department. We need you. Have a great night.
I'm now going to play a video that will give you a little bit more information about what we do.
Welcome to the Fairfax County Public Safety Cadets First Nighter. My name is Officer Stecco with the Fairfax County Police Department. I currently work out of the Franconia District Station, and I'm the lead mentor for Post 2252. I've currently been with the post for 4 years. Fairfax County has 3 separate units located throughout the county. Unit 2252 is located out of West Potomac High School. Unit 505 is located out of Annandale High School, and Unit 1742 is located out of the Fairfax County Criminal Justice Academy.
Hello, I'm PFC Daryl Haley, Fairfax County Police Department out of Sully District Station. I'm the lead mentor for Unit 1742. What do we do as public safety cadets? You will learn what it's like to be a police officer. You'll go through mini academy as recruits, 6 months to learn some of the basic knowledge you'll need for when you graduate to join, to do ride-alongs and learn more in-depth topics in law enforcement on a bi-weekly meeting basis. I'm PFC Dave Curcio with the Fairfax County Police Department. I'm with Unit 505 at Annandale High School. I've been with the department for almost 12 years. I've been with our unit for about 4 years. Basically as long as I've been the school resource officer at Annandale High School, and that's where our unit meets. Some of the things you can expect, or some of the things that you can wind up doing, or opportunities you have as a public safety cadet. We have a couple of different academies that take place. One is a leadership academy. Another one is a shooting competition that we do, and we also have the opportunity within the state and other states to do practical academies. So what that is you'll learn different skills like searching buildings, how to handle certain calls, certain situations, and then you'll get to practice those and then compete against other cadet units from around the state and around the country for awards and prizes. There's also several scholarships available, depending on, with the shooting, with leadership, with the different competitions that we have. Some of the other things that we do a lot of community. So you get a lot of community hours, do a lot of community outreach. We work closely with our crime prevention officers and our community liaison officers. And we'll do things like have you guys dress up, put on a traffic vest. We'll have you direct some traffic. We'll have you do some park cleanups. We'll have you do some car seat installations. So essentially all the different community functions that we perform as police officers, we'll have you guys help out with. And one of the things that the kids like the most, and hopefully we can bring that back soon, is our ride-along program. And what that is, you'll be able to go on 1 or 2 ride-alongs a month with an officer at one of the district stations, and that's really a privilege because most citizens are only allowed to go once a year. You guys could go maybe about once a month. So those are all the different things that you would wind up doing as a public safety cadet, in addition to learning just general leadership skills, learning how to do some public speaking, learning how to interact with others. So in general, it's a fun environment to kind of learn what it's about, what it is to be a law enforcement officer.
Push it. Come on, push. All right. Had a few people coming in throughout the evening. Welcome to those last few that came in. We've already started the program. What you missed, you're going to be able to see because we're going to go through this PowerPoint and we're going to review some of the information that was already discussed. I see a couple people's faces. Are you able to see that first slide that says Public Safety Cadets on it with my name on there along with BFC Curcio? Excellent. Thank you for the confirmation. I appreciate it. As I said at the beginning, I'm MPO Eddie Ashkarati. I have with me PFC Adam Curcio. We also have several other officers with us, to include the lead mentor for Unit 1742 and several public safety cadets, and we have a police cadet, a former public safety cadet, who will speak at the end of this little presentation. So let me get right to it. Who are the public safety cadets? They are a club. That's the way I describe it. Some people may disagree with me. It's a group that meets regularly. We provide them uniforms. We provide them the structure similar to that of a police department. And we then give them the opportunity to take leadership roles. We provide them the opportunity to perform community service. We provide them the opportunity to have an insight as to what law enforcement is all about. What they gain out of it is diverse. We've had many go on to join the military, join the police department, join the fire department, become doctors, trashmen. I mean, they go and do whatever works for them, but it gives them a head start in many ways. So we have the basic knowledge. Like I said, we use the police department sponsors this program. We have the 3 units so we can get to as many areas of this diverse and wide county that we can to provide them with that practical knowledge and experience. We have a variety of officers. We have officers with, Officer Curcio said that he's got 12 years on. We've got some officers that have 4 or 5 years on. I myself have 21 years on. We have some with even more experience. So we have a variety of opportunities for them to learn a little bit more about police officers and others. We have animal protection police officers. In the past, we've had some dispatchers or public citizen police aides. We've had, there's one unit that incorporates some deputy sheriffs. So there are some diversity that is available there as well. Community outreach is our number one use, shall we say, of the youngsters. The students that join us will have an opportunity to be able to help the community in some way. Daryl or Adam, am I missing anything for this?
No, I would agree with you that the community outreach, that's something that you would all participate in a lot, because we get a lot of requests from different agencies and government agencies, different community groups to for assistance with the traffic or assistance with displays from the crime prevention officer, or just to be visible, to do presentations. So that's really where you would get the most use. We do all those other things. You do interact with law enforcement officers. We try to bring people from outside in that do specialized leadership training that may not necessarily be just law enforcement themed. It's just general training. And then we bring other people in from other parts of the criminal justice system when we can. So if we can have an attorney come in and speak, or a judge or a prosecutor, those are the kind of things that we try to do. And this year we may be able to do easier because Zoom allows people to be able to participate pretty easily. So we may be able to expose the kids to a little more of the criminal justice system and other careers in general, just in the government field.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Requirements. Hopefully everyone that is expressing an interest is at least 14 years old and is in high school, or at least a high school level. Whether you're homeschooled or not, it doesn't matter as long as you're at that level. The maintaining a C average is important. We want to know that you're trying, you're doing what you can to do well in school. Good moral character and personal habits. We will do a nice brief background check on everyone who applies. By background, I mean check to make sure that you're a student, make sure that you are maintaining those grades, those kinds of things. We will also check criminal histories. If you've been arrested, don't get all panicky. Let's see what it is first, and then we'll take it from there. Complies with rules and regulations. I've been told that this year we're going to do things a little differently. When you are admitted into the program, you're going to be provided an electronic version of our general orders, the Public Safety Cadet General Orders. So you're going to have an opportunity to read those and become familiar with those. We expect you to follow those. And we do need you to participate. As Lieutenant Colonel Lauren, our Deputy Chief, stated at the very beginning, the involvement is important. Although we're doing most of it virtually now, we've done some Zoom training. We are looking at ways to try to meet in person and the events right now are pretty much on hold, but when they do come back, we will expect the members of the Public Safety Cadet units to assist in those as they come forward. As they come available, I guess is more accurate. There's where we are.
Eddie,
Please.
I would just add that because of the pandemic, I mean, we would follow anything that we would do, any in-person meeting, or we may conduct interviews. If we do the interviews, we'll follow all CDC guidelines. We'll be masked up. We'll expect everybody, to use hand sanitizer, all those different things. I mean, we don't want to unnecessarily expose any of the kids or any of your families to COVID or anything else, the flu, whatever it might be. So just rest assured, whatever we decide to do, we're going to take those precautions. But it's a voluntary program. So if there's something that your child doesn't feel comfortable doing, or you don't feel comfortable letting them participate in, we're going to try and have that option for Zoom. So if we do interviews and we happen to do them, we have the ability to do them over Zoom or virtually as well. So we'll try. The number one thing, or the name of the game for us, no matter what, especially now, but no matter what, in dealing with this program, is safety. We always try to think about the safety of the kids, depending on what event we're asking them to do. In the past, we have them do parades, but we don't put them in front of, a mass protest group that has weapons or anything like that. We try to keep them in the nice area that's nice and safe. So just give them kind of a flavor of what we do. But we always take, that's number one in our consideration or our calculus when we do plan events, that we try to take care of their safety. We do debriefs. We try to talk about those things ahead of time so that we can work through it to make sure that we keep their safety in mind, because ultimately that's what we do for almost all the operations that we go on as police officers. We try our best to minimize or mitigate risk at every turn. So just want to make sure that's clear. We're not going to throw the kids out there and expect them to do things that officers would do, or if we have them do something, we'll make sure that we take the appropriate precautions. I was part of a special infectious disease response team. I got additional training and was given PPE to do the job. They wouldn't expect me to do that job without having that training and then providing the PPE. And we all have that. We all have basic training, but they gave us some extra training because we wanted to be able to supplement the officers on the street so that they felt comfortable. So if the department's willing to take that step to pay, for additional training and to have additional opportunities as overtime to safeguard our safety, then of course we're going to take that step with your kids as well.
Thank you, PFC Curcio. As you look at the county, it's a big county. When you look at, I don't know where everyone is that is looking at this video right now, we've got them pretty well spread out. If you draw a line between Unit 1742 and 2252, Unit 505 pretty much dissects that line. So we've got a pretty good spread throughout the county of reaching out to the students. Which unit you choose to attend is up to you. Just because you live in the West Springfield area does not automatically mean you have to go to the Unit 505 by looking at this map. It's whatever is going to work for you as a family and for that student to get to a variety of events, and just as importantly to the meetings once we go in person again. Now, note the asterisks. That's under normal times. Obviously, we are making modifications, as everyone is, during this COVID pandemic era. Typically, we do meet twice a month. Typically, for about the first 6 months is recruit training, where we take all the new public safety cadets and put them through some basic training in terms of, well, you can see in the picture, just standing in an inspection, learning how to march, learning how to wear a uniform. Those kinds of things are some of the, and there's another slide coming up to give you an idea of some of the other things that we teach. But all of that comes in early. The Class D uniform, Class Delta uniform is T-shirts and BDUs. So we start off very basic. Pictures of the others as we move forward here. The hours that you need to complete, again, right now, we're working on how we're gonna, that'll be handled a little differently as we move forward. Don't concern yourself with those because there aren't 4 events quarterly for you to even attend right now. But ideally, there is usually enough events that you can get these without any problem and still be involved in your high school sports and still be involved in your high school clubs. We have several of our public safety cadets that have found a way to balance that in their lives and still do well in school. So that becomes family decisions as we move forward. As a parent of 4, this is a key one for me because managing 4 schedules as they all went into different directions is a challenge. So I get it. There are dues. I'm sorry, go ahead. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and just so everybody's aware, you know, we do follow the, Fairfax County school schedule. So, you know, we take into consideration when there are student holidays and stuff like that, because we're not trying to take too much of the personal life away, but we do try to work around the school schedule. So just everybody keep that in mind.
Thank you, PFC Haley. All right. Moving forward, there is some dues involved. In the past, it's actually been much higher. I was surprised when I saw this number. Very low membership to get us started. If this is an issue, please make reference to that in your application and it will be reviewed individually. But there is a $15 membership fee as we go forward. There you see pictures of the different uniforms. They're in reverse order. So the one you see on the far left, again, T-shirts and the BDUs, that's the Class Delta uniform. Then you see the polo, that's the Class Charlie uniform. Then that's actually an old police recruit uniform that we've now confiscated for ourselves in the public safety cadets. And that is a Class B. It's kind of like a work uniform. And then our nice uniform, which is used for ceremonies or depending on the event, is the Alpha uniform, Class Alpha uniform. The one thing that is needed on an individual basis, which parallels police work as well, as police officers, we are issued all our uniforms. A couple of things we're not issued, and that is boots, and that is a 2-inch black belt. That's not just for uniformity purposes. There's actually a purpose behind that belt, and that is when you wear your gun belt, it attaches to that leather belt. So that's why it has to be a leather belt, fairly large, so that it's comfortable and can hold the equipment that you will have the opportunity to learn and play with. No, you will not be given a taser. No, you will not be given any weapons of any kind. But you will be given a holster for some scenarios and a blue gun. For those who don't know what a blue gun is, it's basically a plastic molded piece that looks like a gun. And it's the same size, approximately same size and weight as one of our regular pistols. So it cannot hurt you unless you throw it at somebody. And then 2 matching pens. Anything on the uniforms, gentlemen?
Yeah, I was going to add that.
We'll let Haley go first.
Okay. I was just going to add with the 2 matching pins, the clicky ones, not the ones with the caps. We want you guys to look professional. So if we put you in scenarios where you have to take a report, just imagine you trying to take the cap off of one of the other pins, where if you just have the clicky ones like we all carry, that's a lot easier, looks more professional. and you can roll on without having to worry about where the cap is, and losing or having ink spill in your pocket. So.
Thank you. Mr. Curcio?
Yeah, I would just mention about the T-shirt and the polo. Whether or not that cost is covered is really dependent on whether or not the unit has money from fundraising. In the last session, we actually had the recruits pay for the polos because they've gotten pricey in recent years, and we still were able to support those who weren't able to pay the price. They were quite expensive. They're about $40 for a polo with the embroidery and everything. So we try to mitigate those costs when we can, but it really depends on the fundraising and what money we have available. So there may be additional costs that aren't mentioned here that we would have to bring up to you on a case-by-case basis or a unit-by-unit basis. But we always do try our best to mitigate the cost for those who might not be able to afford it. We also handle that very discreetly. We don't call anyone out in front or anything like that. I have a number of students who attend my school here in Annandale who have required assistance, and I just have them talk to me on the side, so it's not embarrassing for anyone, but we want to make sure that everyone can participate. I just want to make sure there weren't any hidden costs that like a bait and switch. Like when you meet with us separately, you'll find out there's actually some costs. So it really depends on how much, what the level of funding is that we have for those uniforms. The most expensive uniforms that you see on the right, the Class A and the Class B, are provided by the department.
Thank you, Mr. Curcio. All right, the typical meeting is going to start at 1800 hours. I'm going to use the 24-hour clock. I'm a former military myself, and we use the 24-hour clock a lot in police work. So you are going to learn it if you don't already know it. The most meetings will start at 1800. That does change occasionally, and unit to unit, and purpose to, depending on what's going on that particular week or month. The event book is handled differently. Some units, what this is referring to is that they're going to go over what is available, what is needed for coverage in terms of what events we do have coming up. Old and new business is exactly as it sounds. Are we doing a fundraiser? Do we have money? Do we need money? What are some of the issues we need to address as a unit? And I will note at this time that this is handled by you, the students. This is not handled by the officers. The officers are there to guide. The officers are there to mentor. The officers can veto you, so to speak, if there's a decision made that is completely wrong. But as a general rule, those decisions are made by you, the students, the members of the unit. Some units emphasize the physical training more than others. I'm not telling you which ones they are so that you can pick your location based on what is most comfortable for you in terms of distance and attendance. The PT, the physical training, is something that all units do focus on and do participate in. A guest speaker, some sort of activity or training, could be one of the mentors within the unit. It could be a member from one of our specialty units within the department. It could be an outside member altogether, whether it be from the FBI, the DEA, the fire department, you name it. We have a variety of contacts, and they will come in and assist and provide you some exposure to something new. The meetings are almost always pretty accurately, they're done at 2100. We recognize that you all are still students. School is still going, albeit in a slightly different format right now, but you are going to get home at a reasonable hour so that you can continue being your student and get your good grades. Do we have any officer from 2252? I apologize for calling him out, but Mr. Haley, would you give us a little bit of insight at 1742, what some of the things you might do on a typical night outside of
Yeah, so Yeah, so obviously, like you guys saw, 1742, we're fortunate enough because we do meet at the academy. So we have the entire academy and the academy grounds to kind of use at our disposal for training. So, if there's scenario-based training and it's traffic stops, we have the nice open parking lot we can use, or if we want to send you in, for noise complaints or whatever, we do have makeshift apartments and stuff that we can use within the academy, which is nice. Like I said, we're fortunate to have that. But yeah, we do start, right at 1800, and they usually kick it right over to the post captain, lieutenant, and let them run it from there. And they'll come up with the the agenda as far as they're gonna mention read the pledge and all that gets, and then we're gonna go right into whatever the activity is, and then towards the end is usually when we do the talk about the upcoming and any last minute remarks before dismissal at 2100.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll make a quick comment that some of us are jealous that you're at the academy. I work with PFC Curcio for the rest of the group. I work with PFC Curcio at Annandale High School. We're very fortunate to have a good property there, good size. And we do have an opportunity to do a wide variety of things, but there are certain advantages to being home. And the academy does provide some different advantages. You saw in the video the obstacle course. That, if I'm not mistaken, the young lady running the obstacle course was actually from 2252. And that was me in the video following her around. So we all do get together on occasion. We all do train together. We all do take advantage of some of the different facilities and amenities, for lack of a better word, that we have available to us here in Fairfax County. Mr. Kershaw, and quick one or two addition to that, or are we good?
No, just that we, remember we started moving that to 7 o'clock because we have a little leadership meeting before that. So we actually were doing 7 to 9. And in this age of Zoom, it's actually, a lot of these meetings have only been about, or the presentation's only been about 45 minutes to an hour total. So the Zoom meetings, we don't want to Zoom the kids out. We already know they've been Zoomed out and Googled out and Blackboarded out and everything else by the time they would get to our meetings. So the virtual meetings, hopefully we're going to try and keep under an hour, and that we've been able, at least with Unit 505, we've been able to accomplish that so far.
Thank you for that clarification. All right. I'm not going to harp on this. This is just a good variety of some of the classes. I see a couple people trying to read that. If you're having trouble reading this, if you're looking at this on your phone or something, I will very quickly read the list just so that those that are having trouble reading it know what it says. Basic handcuffing, arrest and search, traffic stops, building searches, crime scene investigations, learning how to talk on the police radio. This includes the phonetic alphabet. First aid and CPR, domestic violence calls, shoot, don't shoot simulator. Those are some of the things. That's not an all-inclusive list. And it varies depending on what guest speaker we can get a particular week or what specialty we have available within the unit. I know that in Unit 505, we had a crisis negotiator available to us, and he was able to provide the training on that himself without us having to go and get someone from the unit make those coordinations. All right, moving along. Nice little summary. We meet twice a month. You're going to get an exposure in law enforcement. You are going to get the policies and procedures, but the big thing is you're going to get leadership, and you're going to have an opportunity to provide back to the community. You ask every police officer why they joined. There's a wide variety of reasons. but all of them at some point in their lives want to get back to the community. They want to help somewhere in their past. They all are going to say that or said it at some point in their lives. You're going to have an opportunity to do that as a public safety cadet. And lastly is you must participate actively. We want you involved. It doesn't work if you just sign up and in name, you're a member of the public safety cadets. We need to physically be out there when possible and feasible to actually participate in these events. At this time, because I know what the next slide is, oh, I was off. Where are we going to go from here? I do want to show you where the application is. I'm going to show you that before we're done. But the next thing is to get the application completed. And we would like 2 letters of recommendations. Please note the asterisks. I'm going to read the asterisks as we understand this may be difficult given the current environment. We will work with you on this. So even though the application is asking for 2 letters of recommendation, if you cannot get them for whatever reason, let us know and we will see what we can do to give you some ideas, suggestions to get the information that we need. We will vet all the applications and you will be notified by email as to the yes or no response. The key dates, we need the email or the application emailed to us no later than October 19th. Once we've had a chance to look at them all and do our background, so to speak, to use police speak, the responses will come back to you October 26th. Now, the first official meeting says November 2nd. That may vary depending on the unit that you get accepted into. That may vary based on the elections. That may vary based on a variety of things. But as of right now, plan on some sort of meeting on November 2nd. I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to stick with that. Now, this is the email address for questions. It's at the bottom of this page. For those of you that have a pen and paper, this is the one you want to write down. That is the email address. I will read it to you. I see some squinting going on there trying to read the screens. It's fcpdpsc at fairfaxcounty.gov. FCPD, Fairfax County Police Department, PSC, Public Safety Cadet at fairfaxcounty.gov. And I'm going to quickly change screens if I can get it to work properly. This might be another one too, if you haven't already found it, the Fairfax County Police homepage is at fairfaxcounty.gov/police. This is what it looks like. You are going to scroll down and find that trophy cup in the middle. It says get involved. If you haven't already found it, I'm doing it nice and slow because I'm going to assume that many of you have not looked at this. Click on get involved. You are going to see this page pop up. In the very middle of that blue box, it says Public Safety Cadets. This is the Fairfax County Police Department Public Safety Cadets page. I click on it, and this is where it takes me. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and there is the application. Now that application is a PDF format. You will be able to open it, type in it, fill it out online, and then either print it out or save it as something else. You should be able to do it either way. If you have to print it out and handwrite the answers to all the questions, that is okay. Please be sure that it is legible. We need to be able to read it. If we cannot read it, it's just like in school. You don't get credit for something the teacher can't read, right? same idea. And the email address that I had you write down earlier is there again. So if you've misplaced your note as to where to go send it, it's fcpdpsc@fairfaxcounty.gov. And you have it again on this page as a reminder too. There you go. So I'm going to stop talking. Been talking a little bit longer than we planned on. I would like to introduce a young lady who is a former public safety cadet and currently a police cadet with the police department. So Emily, go ahead and unmute yourself. Introduce yourself further and give us a few words, please. Is it not unmuting for you? Here, I'll unmute you. There you go.
Okay. So hello, my name is Emily. I used to be an Explorer or Public Safety Cadet for level 5 in Annandale. And so I originally found out about the Public Safety Cadets through my high school criminal justice class. And so after I heard about the program, I applied and I ended up getting in. And throughout the program, I tried volunteering and doing as much as I could to get involved. I actually got up to the rank of first lieutenant. And originally going into the program, I did not like public speaking at all. But with the program, it kind of pushed me to public speak. I had to get up in front of everyone almost every meeting, and I had to either help run the meeting or just speak to everybody to help, get everybody involved. And so throughout the whole experience, it really pushed you to kind of get out of your comfort zone as well. And I really didn't realize how much the police department had to offer. I didn't realize how many different ways you can go with it. You can kind of find your little nook with different aspects of the police department, which is really cool. So after I graduated high school, I applied for the cadet
We're
program.
sorry, your conference is ending now. Please hang up. Because I was an Explorer or Public Safety Cadet, I created a lot of good relationships with officers that I could use as references for the cadet program, which was pretty cool. And actually one of my Explorer advisors is now my current supervisor at work. So it's kind of cool because, it all kind of came together when I became a cadet, and a lot of people recognized me from being a cadet or from being a public safety cadet. And so it's really just a good way to kind of get experienced and to find out if this is really what you want to do. And this, the public safety cadet program, it's a kind of a step up from your normal high school criminal justice classes, and it's more one-on-one with people. And I'm not too sure how much you guys are going to be able to do that because of COVID, but I think that it's a good experience for all of you guys to kind of get involved and again, to find out if this is what you want to do. So yeah.
Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome.
I forgot to, in part of my introduction, I'd like to clarify for everyone. The Public Safety Cadets is the group of high schoolers that we're working with, ages 14 to 20. Emily is actually a paid employee of the police department. As a police cadet, it's actually a paid position. So it's something a little bit different. It's a step up. She's actually a full-fledged member of the police department at this point. So I wanted to clarify that. I should have said that at the beginning. We are nearing the end of this presentation. I am going to encourage you all that any of the questions that you have to submit them via that email address. I'm going to be daring, and I'm going to open up the chat box for a minute or two, and I will take a couple of questions. I've got plenty of officers on here that if I don't know the answer to, I'm sure that we'll have someone who knows the answer to. I can promise you this, there are over 90 people on this Zoom call. I am not going to get to all the questions, I promise you. So please be sure to get your question in via the email. But we have a few minutes left, and I'd like to go ahead and see if we can answer a couple of those. So I am going to, if my computer will cooperate, open up the chat box. And you all should be able to chat. I have not unmuted anyone. I'm doing that on purpose. But you should be able to chat if you'd like to do that. Who should the letter of recommendations come from? The ideal letters of recommendation come from non-family members. They come from someone at school, someone at church, someone at work, a coach, something to that effect is what I tend to encourage you to do. If you have to get a family member, we can't get anything else, get a family member. Don't get like mom and dad and that counts as two. No, that's not going to work for me anyhow. But that's probably a good way to start. Dakota, you do not need to reapply. Thank you, Marcus. Mr. Curcio is answering the question about locations. The Academy, West Potomac High School, and Annandale High School. Should you get accepted to any particular unit, specifically 1742, we'll make sure that you have the address to be able to go join PFC Haley and all of them up there at the Academy. I'm working my way down the chat list. I don't know if I've missed any, but.
I can chime in on a few. The meetings are on Mondays, as long as that Monday doesn't fall on a holiday for the schools. If it does, a lot of times we'll push to a Tuesday, or we may skip that week. It depends on how the schedule works out. We don't want to miss too many, so they're usually on Mondays. Let's see. The application you're going to print out, right? So you can sign it. There's no the application is not virtual, correct? It's a print. You got to print out the PDF.
They won't have to print it out. They should be able to copy it and save it as something else. The email signature is going to come from, the virtual signature, Faith, will come from your email. If you're able to do it all electronically, you're coming directly from your personal email account will serve as your signature.
Did you record the meeting? I mean, we could always send a link out, or we can post the recording at some point.
I did hit record. Unfortunately, I missed a little bit of the early first comments, but I did hit record, so the vast majority of this session is available. It will be available.
And as far as, I think one of the comments I saw was any type of physical ailments. Obviously, we're going to work with you. So if you're unable to do something due to injury or due to an ailment, like I said, we're not gonna push you that hard. We'll have you do other things while everybody else is running, or jumping jacks or sit-ups or something like that.
Yeah, we'll work with you. We don't expect you to be police officers, but so we will work with you and make sure that you get what we need to be done and participate. I see that some of our fellow public safety cadets are answering the question about guns. No, as a general rule, you are not going to be shooting guns. We do have an opportunity to go to a firing range under very strict, limited circumstances. There is a shooting competition that we participated in the past. I don't know if that's going to be repeated in the future. As the time goes forward, you will get the proper training to do that, and that will not be everyone. I'll tell you right now, we will not arbitrarily take everyone out to the range. I'll go ahead and say it. We won't necessarily work around your schedule. If you have a conflict and it's a permanent conflict, try to let us know ahead of time. I see someone has a job and is concerned about that. If it's a permanent conflict, that may be an issue we cannot work around. If it's an occasional issue where you're going to have to make a choice between one or the other, we can definitely work with you on that.
And Dakota, a lot of your questions will be answered in the general orders. So when you review that, as far as the natural hair color and stuff like that.
Hey, Ezekiel, you're still on, right? Would you mind, could you unmute Ezekiel and let him maybe speak as a member, as a current cadet? Somebody asked there if they could hear from a current cadet. I think Ezekiel would be good.
I can do that. After Ezekiel, PFC Haley, you said you have the captain from your post?
I do. So I have 1742's captain with me.
All right.
So if
Oh,
you're
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll pass it to captain first while you're unmuting.
All right, Ezekiel, you go first, and then we're going to let your peer captain go next.
Alrighty. Hello, y'all. My name is Ezekiel Paladares. I am a current sergeant with the Public Safety Cadets in Unit 505, located at Annandale High School. And is there anything specific I have to talk about, or?
Ezekiel muted himself. Yes, he's done. Captain from 1742, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Unit 1742's captain. Just recently I got promoted, so kind of new to this, but I've been with the unit for around a year now, a little more. It's been, it really, you learn, you touch base on a lot, you surface a lot of the what police officers go through in the academy, what they really do. There's a lot of, practicing how to use radio, building searches, people searches. Obviously, that's going to be, changed now with the whole pandemic thing. But, once, like before then, we did a lot of hands-on training. We practiced, traffic stops, like how they would happen in the real world with real vehicles, sometimes in low light environments at night, just to really try to emphasize and expose you to how it would be in the real world. It's awesome. You make new friends, you build friendships that last. It's pretty much all I got.
Okay, thank you very much. Captain Amina from 2252, let me put you on the spot. Let me find you so I can unmute you and share with yourself. I'm looking for you.
And as a quick note, for parents that are listening, when you hear the cadets talk about we're putting them into different scenarios, there's safe scenarios, there's, officers there. They're not out in, the middle of Tyson's Corner doing traffic stops or anything like that. It is a safe environment, a secured environment. So just keep that in mind as well.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Amina. I'm the captain of the Post 2252 cadet program. I recently got promoted from the administrative second lieutenant to captain. This is my third year within the program. I joined my freshman year of high school. This program is really great for several reasons. I mean, you don't join this program just because you want to become a police officer, but for a variety of reasons. You don't have to become a police officer just because you're in the post program. I think it's a great way for you to build relationships outside of school, outside of your community, and just getting to know the leaders within your community. You get great service hours with this. You get a lot of great experiences that you wouldn't have gotten outside of this program. For example, you learn so much and you cover so much ground through this program. So you learn many of the things that you see police officers doing, but you don't really notice. So for example, the phonetic alphabet, traffic stops, and a lot of other things. So I strongly suggest you join this program and look forward to great things for this year. It is virtual, but when we can get back into person, it's going to be really great. If any of you have any questions for me, please let me know. Yeah, thank you guys for having me today.
Thank you, Captain. Public Safety Cadet Captain. I'm going to end it on that. That was a perfect ending. I am going to repeat the email one more time. fcpdpsc@fairfaxcounty.gov. Any questions, concerns, problems with the applications, send them all to that one email address. We have a couple of our commanders are going to be taking those, and then they will farm them out to the appropriate mentors and get the answers and get the responses that you need. I see Officer Maria Stecco. I apologize, I didn't see you in there before. If you have any last comment you'd like to say as the lead mentor for 2252, please feel free to add in anything. I'll unmute you and give you a choice. It's not working. Okay, you may not have the ability to speak from the computer you're at. Okay, everyone, I appreciate it. We had well over 90 people on here. I appreciate the patience, and hopefully the vast majority of you do follow up with the interest you've showed so far and submit your application so that we can continue to go forward in Fairfax County and do some great things. Thank you all and have a good night. I will be ending this in just a moment.
See ya. Thanks for coming.